Beloved one, I was sent, not by chance, not by coincidence. I was dispatched from the courts of heaven because the Father heard your cries, because the war around you has reached a turning point. You didn't find this message, it found you. Because I was commanded to speak, and to speak now. The moment you clicked this, I was already standing over you, sword drawn, wings extended, light burning through the shadows that have tried to surround your life. You have felt the pressure, haven't you? The resistance, the delay, the invisible weight pressing against your destiny. You've been asking, what's holding me back? Why does it feel like I'm fighting something I can't see? Why do I keep repeating the same battles again and again? You're not imagining it. You are in a war, and heaven has watched long enough. Now we speak. Child of light, listen carefully, because this is not just a word of comfort. This is a divine intervention. This is your warning and your rescue. The enemy has tried to blind you, to numb your spirit, to wear down your resolve until you stop moving forward. But your assignment is too important. Your time is too critical, and what's on your life is too dangerous to darkness for us to remain silent. You've felt the heat rising. That's because the battle has intensified. Not because you're losing, but because you're closer to breakthrough than you realize. But breakthrough will not come without a decision. You must wake up now. You must open your eyes now. You must recognize the hour before it's too late. The enemy has tried to cloak your vision with subtlety, not open destruction but hidden delay, silent sabotage, spiritual dullness. He has whispered lies like truth. He has sent distractions dressed as blessings. He has wrapped compromise in false comfort, and your soul has grown tired. But heaven has seen what you couldn't. I have seen the spirits assigned to slow you. I have seen the altars of accusation raised against you. I have seen the curses spoken in secret to derail your destiny. But I also see your heart, still reaching for God, still whispering prayers in the dark, still hoping, even when your strength is low. And for that, you have moved heaven. That is why I was released, to break what you could not, to shatter the veil that has kept you bound. But child, I cannot force you to rise. You must choose to respond. You must open your spirit now, because there is a window over you, a divine moment, a window of acceleration, protection, and divine realignment. But windows do not remain open forever, and this one is closing fast. You are being summoned, not by man, not by religion, but by the commander of angel armies. He is calling you out of slumber, out of compromise, out of fear, out of delay. He is calling you to rise now. You've waited for the right moment, but this is the moment. You've waited for confirmation, but this is the confirmation. I am not here to entertain you. I am not here to soothe you with soft words. I am here because heaven is moving, and you must move with it. And now, in order to receive blessing, type Amen 777. Listen to me. If you keep waiting, if you keep hesitating, if you keep ignoring the pull in your spirit, you will miss what was prepared for this exact hour. There are alignments heaven is orchestrating. There are doors swinging open in the spirit. There are divine assignments being released, but only for those who respond, only for those who see the moment and step through it. Do not delay. Do not return to the cycle I was sent to break. You have already lingered too long in places where God no longer dwells. You have already wasted too many tears on what I was sent to cut away. There is no more time to flirt with the old, no more time to question what has already been made clear. You know what I'm speaking of. Even now your heart is burning. That is not emotion. That is the fire of recognition. Your soul remembers who you really are. Your spirit knows this is divine. So hear me. The veil is thinning. The separation is happening. The lines are being drawn. You are either stepping into fire or falling into slumber. And I have come to pull you into fire, because there is still time, but not much. You must repent. You must renounce every agreement with darkness, known and unknown. You must release the idols you've carried, the comfort you've clung to, the fear that's kept you in delay, because you were not made for stagnation. You were made for warfare and wonder. You were made for victory and vision. You were made for light. You were made to shake foundations. And if you say yes, if you respond now, I will go before you. I will tear down the demonic networks. I will strike down every stronghold. I will war on your behalf. And where you've known delay, you will know divine speed. Where you've felt surrounded, you will walk under angelic escort. But if you ignore this, if you harden your heart, if you treat this as just another message, then the warfare will continue, the cycles will repeat, and the next window will be harder to recognize. So choose now. Say yes to heaven. Say yes to the fire. Say yes to the awakening that your soul has cried for, because I will not stop speaking until you rise. You were born for this moment. You were created for this hour. And heaven has one question for you. Will you open your spirit before it's too late? Like, comment, and subscribe, so I can keep sending you the messages that are only for you, and continue blessing you in ways you don't yet see. You kept wondering, why do I feel so heavy when nothing around me looks wrong? Why does it feel like I'm fighting air? Why can't I explain what's draining me? Because the battle was invisible. And that's exactly how the enemy planned it. He didn't need to destroy your body. He only needed to exhaust your spirit. He didn't need to take your possessions. He only needed to dull your discernment. Because if you stopped seeing clearly, you would stop moving boldly. And if you stopped moving boldly, you would abandon your assignment. But heaven never stopped seeing. I never stopped fighting. Even when you didn't know where the fire was coming from, I was already standing between you and worse. You felt the pressure, but I took the blows. You saw the delay, but I deflected the disaster. You wrestled in your mind, but I warred in the unseen. I guarded you from attacks you never even knew were aimed at you. I stood at the gates of your home. I covered your name in battle. I contended in the night when your soul was tired, because your assignment is real, and hell has known it longer than you have. That's why the warfare started before the vision. That's why the attack started when you were still finding your footing. That's why the enemy launched confusion while you were still discovering your calling, because he saw what was written over you. He recognized the weight of your destiny. He smelled the oil, even when you didn't know you were anointed. And he feared the moment you would finally wake up. That moment is now. No more sleepwalking through seasons. No more accepting delay as your destiny. No more bowing to what you were sent to overthrow. I was not sent to comfort you in captivity. I was sent to break the chains. You were never meant to adjust to the attack. You were meant to counter it. But you can't fight what you won't name. You can't overcome what you tolerate. You can't rise if you're still clinging to what's crumbling. So I have come to expose the unseen war and awaken the warrior in you. The enemy is not just after your peace, he's after your position. Because your next step is a threat. Your next decision is a shift. Your next move is the doorway to impact, influence, legacy, and souls. You think it's just a personal battle, but I see it for what it really is: strategic interference. The people assigned to your obedience, they are waiting. The healing that flows through your voice, it's needed. The ripple of light that comes when you take your place, it's unstoppable. But you must take your place. You've tried to wait for perfect conditions. You've tried to shrink into comfort. You've tried to pretend it's not as serious as it feels. But I tell you now, the warfare around your life confirms it all. You are not average. You are not random. You are not expendable. You were commissioned by heaven for such a time as this. And that's why I've come to clear the air around you, to sever every unseen cord tying you to delay, to remind your spirit of the urgency in this hour. There are lies you must now reject, that your best days are behind you, that too much time has passed, that what's been taken from you won't be restored. Lies, every one of them, because what's been delayed is being delivered, what's been stolen is being returned, and what's been broken is being rebuilt stronger. But your agreement is required, not your striving, not your perfection, just your yes. Because when you say yes, you give me permission to war unhindered. When you say yes, you align your heart with what heaven has already decreed. When you say yes, you strip the enemy of the last weapon he has against you, your silence. Open your mouth, pray again, prophesy again, move again, because your voice was never small. It was suppressed, but no more. You've crossed the line in the spirit. You're no longer who you were. The slumber has lifted. The fire has returned. And now we fight together. This is not a season of watching. This is a season of warring and winning. Because the kingdom is advancing, and you are not meant to watch it happen. You are meant to lead it forward. You've wondered why you couldn't blend in, why you've always felt set apart. It's because you carry a mark. You've been branded for the battle. You may feel unqualified, but I see what's in you. Heaven sees the warrior rising, not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. Not because of your perfection, but because of your position in Him. That's what gives me access. That's why the enemy couldn't take you out. That's why you're still here. And now, the shift has begun. Get ready. You will feel momentum. You will sense clarity. You will walk in authority. Because the invisible war is being exposed, and the real assignment is being unlocked. You are not who the enemy said you were. You are not the failure. You are not the forgotten. You are not behind. You are the chosen. You are the marked. You are the rising. And this time, you will not be stopped. You've asked, why does it feel like everything around me resists what I try to build? Why do people misunderstand me, walk away from me, betray me? You've whispered through tears. Why does it seem like I'm always in the fire while others live untouched? Listen closely, beloved, because you've been fighting under a misunderstanding. The battle around you has not been punishment. It's been proof. Proof that what rests on your life is not common. Proof that hell saw your anointing long before you recognized it yourself. You've been asking God to take the fire away. But I've come to tell you, the fire didn't come to kill you. The fire came to reveal you. The heat increased because of what you carry, because what is placed on your life, what has been sealed over your name, it is weighty, it is holy, it is dangerous to darkness. And when heaven marks someone, hell always reacts. That's why it feels like you've been targeted. Because you have been. Not because you are weak, but because you are chosen. And not only chosen, anointed. The enemy recognized it when you were still young, still uncertain, still in the process. He saw the hand of God setting you apart. And he knew if he couldn't stop your salvation, he would try to strangle your calling. So the attacks came early. The wounds hit deep. The betrayal came from those closest. And the warfare was intense, not because you were failing, but because you were dangerous. But I'm here now to remind you of what I've always known. Your anointing made you a target, but it also made you untouchable. The fire tried to consume you, but it couldn't. The storm tried to drown you, but it failed. The trap was set, but you walked out, because you are not fighting alone. You never were. I've been guarding you from the beginning, not because you are perfect, but because you are assigned. And the Lord has said to you, touch not my anointed. Do my prophet no harm. You are not just a believer. You are a carrier, a vessel, a temple of the living flame. That is why the enemy fears you. That is why distractions keep showing up right before your breakthrough. That is why strange delays and sudden conflicts appear when you're on the edge of something divine. Because the adversary has studied your pattern. He knows that when you move in obedience, chains break. When you speak what God gives you, atmospheres shift. When you walk in purity, strongholds collapse. And when you take your place, other captives find their freedom through you. So don't misinterpret the battle. This isn't evidence that you're off track. It's confirmation that you're getting close. Close to breakthrough. Close to doors opening. Close to your next elevation. That's why the resistance has increased. But I am telling you now, it will not work. It cannot stop what God has anointed. Every weapon formed against you shall not prosper. Every tongue that rises in judgment shall be condemned. Every plan crafted in darkness is being exposed and dismantled by divine fire. Because when I fight, I do not miss. And I have been dispatched again. Not only to guard you, but to remind you who you are. You have forgotten what rests inside you. You've let circumstances define your strength. You've let delay distort your identity. But hear me now. The power that raised Christ from the grave lives in you. That is why I call you mighty. That is why I call you dangerous. That is why I've come to awaken what life tried to bury. The oil on your life is rare. It cost you more than most people know, but it was not wasted. Every tear was seen, every sacrifice was counted, every rejection was recorded, and heaven has kept the receipts. Now it is time for you to walk in the weight of what you've carried. Time for you to stand boldly in the places you once shrank back. Time for you to speak with the authority you were born to release. No more apologizing for your anointing. No more hiding your fire to keep others comfortable. No more dumbing down your discernment to stay liked. You were not born to blend in. You were not sent here to be agreeable. You were placed in this generation to disrupt darkness with your very presence. And I, Archangel Michael, have been assigned to make sure it happens. So rise, shake off the shame. Break every agreement with the lie that you're too late, too flawed, or too far behind. The truth is, you are right on time. You are being accelerated. You are being divinely reintroduced. And the same anointing that made you a target is about to make you a testimony. You will walk in rooms that once rejected you. You will carry authority that silences opposition. You will recover what you lost, and then some. Because when heaven says now, no force in hell can say wait, and heaven is saying now. Beloved, the delay is over. The gate has been lifted. The lock has been shattered. The barrier has been broken. And now, the door is open. But listen to me, you must move now, because open doors do not stay open forever. What is before you is divine opportunity, not convenience. This is not about ease, it is about obedience. And the window you are standing in is sacred, prepared by heaven, positioned perfectly in time, strategically aligned with who you are becoming. But I must tell you plainly, if you hesitate too long, you will miss it. Not because God is cruel, but because the next season requires your movement, not your comfort. This is not the time to second-guess yourself. This is not the time to overthink or delay what your spirit already knows. You've been praying for the door. You've been crying for the change. You've asked me again and again, when, Lord? When will it happen? When will I know? And I heard you. Heaven heard you. And this is the answer. Now. That whisper in your spirit, it's not your imagination. That stirring in your chest, it's not anxiety. It's activation. You're feeling what it means to be called up, to be invited higher, to be pulled into the fulfillment of what was promised. But every promise requires a response. Every calling demands a step. So I ask you now, will you move, even if your knees are trembling? Will you step through, even if you don't know what's on the other side? Because what waits beyond this door is more than provision. It's more than breakthrough. It's destiny. It's the version of you that was always written in the scrolls of heaven. The version the enemy tried to bury beneath fear. The version you glimpsed in dreams, but doubted in waking life. And now the Father says, it's time. No more hiding behind when I'm ready. No more disguising obedience as preparation. No more waiting for permission that I already gave. This door is not just for blessing, it's for becoming. The enemy hoped you'd miss it, that you'd talk yourself out of it, that fear would keep you in circles while time passed you by. But you're not the same as before. You've been refined. You've been tested. You've been strengthened in the fire. You may still feel unsure, but I see the steel in your spirit. You may still question yourself, but I see the yes hidden in your soul, and that's all I need. A yes. Heaven doesn't need your perfection. It needs your agreement, because when you agree, I go before you. When you say yes, I clear the path. When you step out, I surround you. You were never meant to do this alone. This is not your burden to carry. It's your assignment to walk out. And I am already stationed ahead, already waiting at the other side of the door, already surrounding the places you're about to enter. But hear this, child. The time is sensitive. What's opening to you now is aligned with others who are waiting on your arrival. There are divine intersections ahead, appointments in the spirit that can only happen if you show up. And if you don't, they will pass, because heaven is always moving forward. The mercy of God is eternal, but the doors of destiny open in appointed times, and this one is yours. I speak now to the fear that still lingers. You are not unqualified. You are not unworthy. You are not too late. You've been prepared through every wilderness. You've gained wisdom in every delay. You've been forged in hidden places for public obedience. You will not fail, because it is not your strength that carries you. It is your surrender that releases mine. I have warred for this moment. I have shielded you to reach this point. I have cleared demonic interference to give you this access. So don't shrink back now. Don't second-guess what heaven has already approved. Don't hold the keys and refuse to turn the lock. You've waited long enough. You've sacrificed much. You've grown in ways the world never saw. And now the next chapter waits, but it will not read itself. You must walk into it. Let go of the false safety of what is familiar. Let go of the comfort that's become your cage. Let go of the lie that says you must have it all figured out. You don't need a roadmap. You need resolve. The voice of fear will always sound loudest at the door of breakthrough, but courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the refusal to bow to it. So rise now. Open your mouth and declare, I will not miss my moment. Say it until your bones believe it. Say it until heaven moves with you. Say it until fear flees. Because what I see on the other side is glory, is influence, is legacy. Not just for you, but for everyone connected to your yes. You don't even realize the weight of your obedience. You don't see how many lives are tied to your movement, but I do. And I will not let you walk alone. So take the step. Say the yes. Move through the open door before it closes, before the moment passes, before the enemy catches his breath to try again. You've already won this battle in the spirit. Now let your feet walk it out in the natural, because the door is open and the time is now. I know you've been exhausted, not because you are weak, but because the unseen war around you has been relentless. And I need you to hear this with the weight of truth. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. There has been real resistance, real interference, real demonic pushback. But what you didn't see, what you couldn't feel with your senses, is what I've been fighting on your behalf. Because some attacks weren't meant to touch you. They were meant to intimidate you, to confuse you, to wear you down before you could rise up. But I stepped in, long before the anxiety hit your chest, long before the unexpected storm, long before that delay tried to discourage you. I was already there, swinging the sword, shattering the traps, breaking demonic momentum in the midnight hours when you were just trying to sleep. Yes, I saw what you didn't. I felt what you couldn't. And I fought with the fire of heaven, because what rests on your life is too important to let fall. You didn't see the whispers being crafted against you, but I silenced them. You didn't feel the claws of accusation inching toward your reputation, but I cut them off. You didn't know that an ambush was forming in the shadows, but I stood in the doorway, and I did not move. I have been stationed around you, not because you are fragile, but because you are marked. You are a threat. You are a breaker. You are a voice that disrupts the silence of bondage, and hell has known it. So yes, you've been attacked. Yes, the pressure has been unfair. Yes, the timing of it all has felt cruel and calculated, because it was. But so was my defense. What came against you was allowed only to the edge of my sword, and no further. You've lost some things, I know. Some relationships, some stability, some confidence. But you did not lose your covering. You did not lose your access. You did not lose your place, because I was still here when the tears fell, when the prayers went quiet, when the people turned away. You thought you were alone, but I was still on post, sword drawn, shield raised, and I did not sleep. I have warred while you worshipped. I have fought while you fasted. I have battled through layers of demonic entanglement that you never knew had your name on them. There were curses spoken against you, assignments planned around you, spells whispered in secret by those pretending to love you. But the Lord dispatched me, not just to protect you, but to sever every contract with darkness that you did not agree to. You see, there are things that try to attach themselves to you. Bloodline battles, inherited patterns, spiritual debris passed down through generations, but the chain ends here. Not because you fought harder, but because heaven said, enough. You've been asking why the warfare increased after you prayed, why the pressure rose right after you obeyed, why confusion crept in when you were finally getting clear. Because your steps forward triggered opposition. Your obedience broke through layers of darkness that thought you would never dare approach. But you did. And now, I fight because you said yes. I war because you didn't back down. I protect because your assignment has only just begun. So don't let what you feel lie to you. Just because the atmosphere is thick doesn't mean you are failing. It means you're breaking through. You don't need to see every demon fall to know you've won. You don't need to understand every delay to trust that it's working for your good. Because while you keep walking, I keep fighting. And beloved, we are winning. The fog is beginning to lift. The spiritual interference is losing traction. The enemies that mocked you will now scatter in 7 directions. Because I am not just defending you, I am making way for you. Doors are being cleared. Lies are being exposed. People who were sent to distract you are being removed. And what's ahead is clarity, acceleration, and a weight of glory that will rest upon you in ways you've never carried before. But you must know this: it wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't just your strength. It was warfare. It was divine intervention. It was me, Archangel Michael, warring under the command of the Most High to preserve your destiny. So walk boldly now. Lift your head again. Stand in the light and declare, I have not been forsaken. I have been protected. I have not been forgotten. I have been guarded. I am not under attack. I am under divine defense. Let every lie break in the light of that truth, because I fought for you. I am fighting for you, and I will continue until everything God promised you becomes manifest in full. This is not over, but the tide has turned, and the next wave will carry you forward. It's shifting. Can you feel it? The resistance that once seemed unmovable is beginning to crack. The pushback that once overwhelmed your mind is now shrinking in the light of truth. Because the counterattack, the enemy's final attempt to derail what's been set in motion, has failed. It was loud, sudden, strategic. It came at a time when you were finally gaining ground, when you started to believe again, when you began stepping into alignment, and then, boom, everything felt chaotic. But I tell you now with divine authority, that chaos was not a sign that you were wrong. It was confirmation that you were dangerously close to your breakthrough. The enemy saw what was being built in secret, and he panicked. He saw the cracks forming in his own systems. Because your obedience was striking at the root, he sent confusion, but your discernment held. He sent distraction, but your focus returned. He sent fear, but it couldn't find a home in you. So, yes, he launched the counterattack, but it didn't work. Because what he forgot is this: you are no longer operating from the old identity. You're no longer the version of yourself who folds under pressure. You've changed. You've matured. You've been tested, and you didn't collapse. Heaven saw how you stood, even when your knees buckled, even when your prayers turned into groans, even when all you had left was a whisper of faith. And that was enough, because your faith under fire became your fiercest weapon. You've been marked by what you endured, and now you're about to be rewarded for what you passed through. I was assigned to you not only to fight, but to escort you forward when the fog lifted, and now comes acceleration. Not just progress, acceleration. There is a divine quickening about to overtake you. Things that stalled for years will suddenly fall into place. Connections, alignments, provision. All of it has been held in waiting for this moment. The enemy thought the delay would wear you out, but what he didn't know is that heaven was using that delay to prepare a launch. You were not being ignored. You were being positioned, like an arrow drawn back. You felt tension. You felt the pull. You felt the pressure. But now, the hand releases, and you fly. No more crawling, no more circling, no more walking through spiritual molasses. This is your release, and it's going to come quickly, suddenly. Without the usual explanations, people will ask, how did that happen so fast? And your answer will be simple, it was time. Because when heaven says move, nothing can stop it. Not the slander, not the jealousy, not the spiritual interference. The counterattack failed. The enemy's blueprint has burned, and now the very wind of God is behind your back. You will be carried into rooms you didn't even knock on, into places your name was already whispered in, into assignments that require exactly what you carry. You are not a backup plan. You are not a substitute. You are a solution heaven waited for. The season of wondering is over. The season of watching others pass you by is finished. The season of asking, God, did you forget me? Is no more. I have stood between you and every force that tried to delay this moment. And now, I open the way. Your feet will move fast, but your spirit will feel peace. Your schedule may shift, but your soul will feel prepared. You may not have all the details, but you'll know this. God is doing it, and I am making sure nothing interferes. I've already cleared the traffic in the spirit. I've already silenced the watchers. I've already dismantled the web of confusion that tried to trap you. You are free to run. Don't look back to evaluate what you lost. Don't stop to explain yourself to those who didn't believe. Don't try to bring people who refuse to grow with you. This pace isn't for the complacent. This grace isn't for the hesitant. It's for the ready. It's for the willing. It's for those who say, even if I'm nervous, I'm going. Because heaven responds to motion. Faith is magnetic to the supernatural. And boldness pulls power from realms you haven't even seen yet. So take the leap. Make the call. Write the plan. Open your mouth and speak what's been burning in your bones. Now is not the time to shrink. Now is not the time to play small. The acceleration will not wait for your full confidence, only your yes. And you've already said it. When you kept going, when you chose purity, when you prayed instead of retaliating, when you stayed when it was easier to run. That was your yes, and now heaven moves with you. Beloved, you have endured the fire. You have survived the storm. You have withstood the attack. Now comes the swift wind of change. And I, Archangel Michael, will walk with you until every part of the promise is fulfilled. The door is open. The way is cleared. The enemy is silenced. Now run. Because this is not the end of the battle. It's the beginning of the rise. Beloved one, you've been carrying a quiet ache, the feeling that somehow you missed it, that the window closed, that the opportunity passed you by. But hear me now, with the full authority of the one who sent me. You are not behind. You are right on divine time. You think the delay was a detour, but I tell you, it was a divine redirection, not to punish you, but to protect you, to shape you, to forge something within you that could not be rushed. You see only what wasn't, but I see what was preserved. There were places you tried to enter, and the doors slammed shut, not because you were unworthy, but because what waited behind them would have buried you. You cried, "Why won't it open?" And heaven whispered, "Because I'm not finished with you yet." Timing is a sword in the hand of God, and He only strikes when the impact will be fullest. So no, you are not late. You are becoming lethal in silence. Others have run ahead. Let them. What is for you requires preparation, because the place you're called to requires your depth. You have not been idle. You have been crafted. While you questioned your pace, heaven was refining your power. While you mourned the closed doors, we were building the keys. And now the alignment begins, not with noise, not with fanfare, but with a sudden divine pull, an invisible shift, a holy unrest that says, it's time to move. This is not coincidence. It's positioning, because what's ahead requires your full attention. Your heart must be unburdened. Your mind must be cleared. Your hands must be free to carry glory. So yes, some things had to fall away. People had to walk out. Plans had to collapse. Not because you failed, but because you outgrew what once contained you. You are not who you were when you first prayed for this. And now, your surroundings must match your new spirit. There are places God refused to let you settle in because He knew your wings would die there. That's why your prayers were answered with silence. That's why your efforts seemed to fall flat. That's why others got the spotlight, while you were hidden in the shadows. But I tell you now, with all clarity, the hiding was holy. It wasn't punishment. It was protection. You were being fortified, trained in quiet, sharpened by the Spirit for what is coming next. And now, you are being drawn out, not into a spotlight, but into alignment, into places that recognize your anointing, into atmospheres that can hold your fire, into relationships that don't require you to shrink to survive. This is divine positioning. You're not being elevated for applause. You're being established for assignment. What's ahead is not simply success. It's impact. It's territory. It's authority that shifts entire environments when you walk in. You are not here to impress. You are here to uproot, to unseat, to release. That's why the process felt brutal, because the weight you're about to carry isn't ordinary. So don't mourn the years you thought were wasted. Don't resent the silence. Don't curse the process. Every season of stillness added strength to your wings. And now I tell you, you're about to soar higher than you thought was possible. The winds are shifting in your favor, not gently, powerfully. Doors are being opened by unseen hands. Favor is finding your name in rooms you never entered. Opportunities are being redirected from others to you, not because you demanded it, but because you waited with integrity, because you did not compromise for speed, because you let the fire finish its work in you. And beloved, that has moved heaven. What you thought was delay was the runway being cleared. What you called failure was God filtering your future. You are not behind. You are being launched with precision, with power, and with the full backing of angelic force. I have been watching over the alignment. I've seen the divine intersections being set. I've already gone ahead into your next season, and I've cleared the path. You won't have to fight for entry. The gate is already opening. But remember this, Not everyone can come. Not every voice can be carried with you. Not every comfort can survive the altitude of what's next. Release it. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the shame. Let go of the false timeline you were never meant to follow. God is not slow. He is exact. And you are exactly where you need to be. So step forward with confidence. Speak with boldness. Move with divine courage. You are not unqualified. You are chosen. And everything that didn't happen was part of making you ready for what now must. I, Archangel Michael, have guarded this season with my sword. And now I tell you, walk forward. It's your time. You are right on schedule. The shift has happened. Not in theory, not just in spirit, but in reality. Heaven has made its decree, and it has already been set in motion. You may not see all the changes yet, but the realm above you has shifted. The resistance has been broken. The verdict has been rendered. What was once delayed is now being delivered. And now, you must walk in the authority that has been given to you. Because this is not just about receiving. This is about ruling. The time of being silent to avoid conflict is over. The time of shrinking back so others can feel comfortable has ended. You were not placed here to blend in. You were placed here to disrupt the darkness, to speak with holy boldness, to shift atmospheres just by standing in them, to break generational chains without even raising your voice. This is not about power for show. It's about divine authority that carries weight in both realms. When you speak, demons will tremble. When you pray, things will move. When you obey, heaven will back you immediately. Because now, the authority has been activated. And I tell you this with full force, you will never go back to the version of yourself that tolerated what heaven never intended. You've grown too much. You've seen too much. You've survived too much. The enemy tried to trap you in fear, but you broke free. He tried to bait you into cycles, but you saw the pattern and shattered it. And now, you have access to things that others only sense in shadows. You've been handed keys. Keys forged through pain, patience, and purity. Use them. Speak what God tells you, even if your voice shakes. Move where He leads you, even if your feet are unsure. Declare what you see, even if others laugh. This world doesn't need another echo. It needs a voice of fire. And that's what you've become. You are not just carrying a word. You are the word fulfilled. Every wound became a well of wisdom. Every delay deepened your discernment. Every battle gave you vision the enemy cannot decode. So now, I charge you, walk in your authority, with humility, not arrogance, with clarity, not confusion, with love, but never again with fear. You are no longer just surviving the battlefield. You are governing it. And I, Archangel Michael, am not stepping back. I have been commissioned to walk beside you, to war with you, to whisper instructions in the spirit you once struggled to hear. And now, because the veil has lifted, you'll hear me clearly. In the quiet moments, in the middle of your tasks, in the silence between your questions, you'll know what to do. You'll sense when to wait and when to strike. You'll feel when something is off, even if no one else sees it. Because your spirit is no longer immature. It has matured through fire. And with maturity comes responsibility. You are now responsible to walk as one who knows who they are. No more apologizing for being anointed. No more watering down your discernment. No more second-guessing the promptings of the Holy Spirit. You know His voice. You followed it through valleys and storms. And now, you stand on the other side. So plant your feet, hold your ground, Lift your head, because the crown is not coming. It is already upon you. Even when others can't see it, hell does. That's why the attacks increased as you got closer. That's why the warfare came in waves. That's why you were tempted to walk away. Because the enemy saw what was forming before you did. But he failed. And now you rise. The gates have opened. The oil is flowing. The mantle has been passed. And with this, beloved, I speak this final word over you. You are not who you were before this message found you. You've crossed a threshold. You've stepped into a new rank. You've awakened to what has always been in you, but is now finally upon you. Do not take this lightly. Do not treat this moment as ordinary. This is a holy commissioning, a divine invitation to walk in the full measure of your calling. You are not too late. You are not unworthy. You are not unprepared. Everything you've walked through was training. Everything you lost was purification. Everything you feared was used to refine your roar. So stand now, not just as a survivor, not just as one who made it, but as one who governs. Because the war didn't break you, it revealed you. And now, the earth will see what heaven already knows. You are ready. You are chosen. You are anointed. And I, Archangel Michael, have only this left to say. The message is complete. Now walk in it.